Hello, let's play Symble. I always start with Blaze. All right, so we need to decode what these symbols mean. We don't even know what the third one looks like yet, but it's different for every solve. And one of them is going to mean that in that slot, so that's why it's not coloring the letters. It's saying in the first slot, none of the letters you guessed go there. So it's not, hey, there's no B in the word. It's, hey, there's no B, L, A, Z, or E in this first slot. That could be, that's probably what this one means. It's so common. One of them will mean, hey, in that slot, a different letter that you guessed goes there. So maybe if that's this symbol here, that means in the fifth slot, a B, L, A, or Z is supposed to go there. And then another symbol will mean, yes, that letter is in that slot. So we're trying to get all of that symbol across because that would be the correct word. So I'm going to actually assume we end in E because that'll tell us right away. I mean, there's two assumptions I make. One is that the most common symbol is the not in the word symbol because that's the most common result we could get. And then the other, I'm going to assume that we do end in E, even though it's more likely that we're in out of place. But a lot of words do end in E, so it could be. So I'm going to guess house. All right, so we got a repeat symbol for this fifth slot. And there's no way it's a different letter goes there because we don't have any common letters between Blaze and house other than the E. So this has to be the yes, it ends in E symbol. And then this symbol is the new one, and it's going to mean, hey, it doesn't mean the S goes somewhere else. It means an H, O, or U goes in that slot. It's not the E because the E was already used for this clue. A letter cannot be used for more than one clue, and it prefers the in place over others. And so that means that we are either H-E, O-E, or U-E. Now, the other thing we know is that whatever letter goes in that fourth slot cannot be in an earlier slot because it always prefers the earliest possible slot to clue the out of place. So it's not like we're Q, right? You might think, oh, maybe the answer is Q, but that would mean that this would have been the orange teardrop, not this one, because the U would prefer to be the leftmost. So if we do end in UE, which seems to be the most likely to me, then then we would need to have some other, we'd have to have an I, basically. I think it's going to be peak, not peak. All right, well, at least it does end in UE, but that means there's no I in the word. There's no A or O or U. Now, the E can repeat because it's only been used for the in-place clue. So we could be one of these words. What would do that? Maybe review? Okay, so that means it's VE something UE, because this is the out of place, and the only letter available to put there is the V. The other ones are used by in-place clues. So venue. All right, cool. I hope that was helpful for people who are still confused by Symble. I tried my best to explain it as well as I could, and I've stopped using the Wordle coloring as an analog because people are like, are you colorblind? That is clearly green, not gray. That is clearly blue, not green, right? I would call this gray, I would call this green, and I would call this yellow and confuse everybody. So I'm trying to stop doing that. Let me know if this explanation worked for you, and how'd you do?